Hello, my friends, and welcome to this new Let's Play, or rather, not a new Let's Play, but a new Izzy Versus. And today on this series, we start a new one, in which I have been wanting to do for a very long time. Back when I had a Super Nintendo. And that is Ogre Battle. The March of the Black Queen, otherwise known as The Legend of Ogre Battle, The March of the Black Queen. And this is brought to us by Quest and Imagineer, and published by Enix before they merged with Square. And previously I did a run on my own time, just because I felt like doing a run, just to try something out. I put cheats on it. So this is the 5th episode of Ogre Battle. The sage Vashidi, perhaps driven by madness, assassinated his former friend King Dran Zenobia and joined with Empress Indora, leader of the Northern Highlands, to wage war on 4 kingdoms. The overpowering military of the Highland legions took but a year to subdue the whole continent, and the Zetichian Empire was born. The rule of the empire was a pure regime of terror. Merciless persecution was directed against the loyal survivors of the old kingdoms and those who would escape tyranny. The hearts of the people were troubled by secrets and betrayals, and much blood was spilt upon the land. Imperial Year 24. Here on the frontiers of Sharon, the last survivors of the Knights of Zenobia were planning the final challenge. I've always been curious about the series because ever since then I've been wondering about, if it's called episode 5, where are the other 4 episodes prior to that? So, as is the case, you have your story. But in this first part of this versus, me versus Ogre Battle, we're actually going to do something different. We're not going to go into the game per se, but instead, we're going to run into the rules of how this game is played and how we're going to work it into this run. We're going to start up a new game, and just like any other RPG, we're going to have a mage guiding us throughout this entirety of the journey. Now, one thing I need to remind you is that for those who have never played Ogre Battle, there's Tactics Ogre and then there's Ogre Battle, just so you know. This is Ogre Battle. This is a tactics-based RPG. I played a game similar to this on my own time called Record of Lotus Lore, and it plays nothing like this. It sort of plays like this, but it doesn't play like it. Another thing you need to know is that this game is, as far as liberating towns are concerned and everything else, you got two rules that you have to abide by, and that is alignment and RNG. That's right, RNG is being in this. And how is the RNG activated throughout this? Well, you've seen it in the backstory, the tarot cards. You get 14 tarot cards to choose from, and you pick them up precisely during your entire run of the game. Now, mind you, it has 29 maps. This first map that we're going through, or perhaps not going through, because it really is a tutorial on how you operate the map part of the game. So, as I stated, there's RNG, and the RNG is based upon what card you draw from the tarot deck. Your max total of cards you can carry is always 14. You also have 9 units that you can put on the map. They cost money, of course. And the only way you can gain more money is that you have to liberate towns. And the more towns you liberate, the more money you'll receive. It's like Fire Emblem, except that it's not one-on-one. It's basically your group versus theirs. Another thing you need to know, for those who have never played this game, is about your units. Now, if you're like me who played strategy and tactics RPG, then one thing you need to know is that all units have leaders, and your leaders need to be protected. So, at all times, if you can afford to do so, try to keep your leaders in the back. If not, if they're strong enough, put them in the front. Because they work in rows. The back row, you have a certain skill that only you can pull off. And not just leaders, but any of the units on the field can pull off when they're in the back. When they're in the front, it's always going to be attacks. They're going to have more attacks than anything else. So, I'm just going to run this off to you because it's a 0 part. And when we get to like the actual first part of the game, I don't want to have to go through the entirety of basically saying, oh, well, this is this. No, we want to get right to the meat and potatoes of this thing. So as I said, there are 2 alignments. You have light and dark. And depending on how you change their classes, because yes, you can change their classes, and like I said, it is like Fire Emblem, in which you can change your classes by way of certain levels. And I'm going to run them off as nice and quickly as I can, or at least as not quickly, as detailed as I can with this. So, the first thing you need to know is that every character has a base. All your units have a certain base. For most, you have the fighters. And we're talking about, this is male units we're talking about. The fighter can go either 2 ways, depending on alignment. For the light alignment, you have a wizard, a knight, and a samurai. That's your light alignment. It can also go dark too, but at certain levels, If they reach a certain level, like say level 7, they can change into that certain class that they can only become once you do change them after hitting that level. So only in the front do fighters give 2 slices. The back only 1. They're small but mighty. And they have decent stats as far as how they go. For level ups, they got some reasonably standard fare level ups. At level 7, if you got them at level 7, you can boost them to a samurai. Samurais are kind of okay. But it's like, if you really want to wait it out, you can wait until you get to level 15 and you can make them into a samurai master. You can also make them into a ninja. But like I said, if you want to wait, you can do that. So it's like they're all plane fighters, so their terrain is the plains. So the thing is, when you take the samurai route, you can either go from level 7, stop from there, turn them into a samurai, or you can wait it out for, say, 15. Get them up to level 15, get them to Master Samurai or Ronin, and they will basically become better. Another thing you could do is if you're level 15 and you have a knight in your party or a cleric, they can become a paladin. Now, of course, these are, light alignments, so they give, more to your alignment. Like, say, 70 to your alignment, your light alignment. Whereas if you were to have anything else, it'd be less to your alignment. So, Paladin is stronger than your standard fare knights. But they're, but they are more powerful than your knight troop. The thing is, as you can tell, like a paladin from any other game, they have a tendency to become great defenders, as well as attackers, and they also can heal while in the back row. And they're white mage users. So that's good. Another thing is, you can also turn them into a vampire. But the only way you have to do that is you have to have a knight or an evil one with a blood kiss. Therefore, you turn them into a vampire. And the front row, well, they suck blood. Only at night. During the day, they don't do anything. They just sleep. So, it's an either-or thing. So, knights can either be a paladin or a vampire. But they have to meet a certain requirement in order to become that. And evil one is also a requirement. Now, next is mage. mages basically are that good. They're only like level 10. They're small. And yes, it can be a leader type. And of course, you have to keep them in the back. Because mages are casters. Like healers, they have to be in the back. You can promote them to sorcerers or liches. And in order to do that, in order to be a sorcerer, it has to have an undead staff. A mage with an undead staff to become a sorcerer. So if you find some staves, that's a good time for you to upgrade to a sorcerer. And the same thing if you're going on the dark side, you get a lich. And all you need for a lich is a sorcerer and an undead ring. And therefore you can class change to that. And trust me, if you're like any other normal person who wants to have that right kind of lineup, you'd want to try and get them as soon as you can. A beastman, of course, is a small size, and of course, at level 5, they can be pretty good. A nice charisma, and your alignment is mixed between 25 to 65. Their upgrade is a Beastmaster. And my god, the only way you can do that is you have to be level 12 in order to do that. The thing about the beast line would be the alignment. So that's the only thing you would have to do. You would have to be cautious of your alignment. Because, as I said, this game is dependent on RNG, and that really does mess with your alignments. Because the cards itself are RNG, basically. That's what it is. The cards are RNG. But if you really want a Beastman, it's just stronger. A Beastmaster is stronger than a Beastman. That way you can recruit monsters to your side. A Dragoner, as it's called here, is a Beastmaster with a Stone of Dragos. So that way you can recruit dragons and wyverns. And mind you, all I'm reading here is they're all plains. They all operate on plains, so their terrain is just always going to be on plains. So, upgraded is a Dragon Master at level 20. And that way you can recruit black dragons, red dragons, and silver dragons. Of course, you know, they all do frontal attacks, and in the back row they do, well, what's different is they have magic, so therefore a Dragon Master will do ice, can cast ice in the back row. Twice, to be precise. And that's the last you can actually deal with as far as if you want dragon. If you want to get dragons, that's what you have to get, a Dragonair to a Dragon Master. Next is the Dawn Mage. Now the Dawn Mage is also a plains character. Can only operate on terrains. The plains terrain, I should say. And this way you can recruit golems if you decide to make one. So let's see. Level 5. Level 14 for Golem Master. And they both, front, they use dolls, back, they use acid. Doll Master is about the same, except, you know, they use 2 dolls, and the 2 dolls in the front, 2 acid in the back. So they cast acid twice in the back row. And then there's the Wild Man, which is technically the last item you can choose after that. Because when we get into the Let's Play, you'll see these choices in which, you know, I can go this route or this route. Now, the Wild Man is evil, just straight up evil. It's stronger. It used smash attacks because, you know, it carries a mace. Now, the only way you can get an evil one is if you have basically a Wild Man, and you can turn that Wild Man into an evil one, and with that you can recruit fellow Wildmen and Wizards. The only requirement is being at level 16, charisma of 60, and alignment between 0 to 30. For Doll Masters, it has to be 60 charisma and alignment between 50 to 80, and it has to be level 14. For most of what I'm reading, everything has to be within a range between 50 to 60 in charisma, and your alignment being between around figure of 30 to 70. So just to let you know, most of it is going to be around either 0 to 70, basically. But they will never. But you know, that's depending on how you play. So you got Ninja as well. Ninjas, of course, you can also gain from changing from a fighter. You have to be level 6, have a charisma of at least 50 or more, and alignment between 0 to 49. In the front, they throw shurikens. But it's really kunai. From what I see, it's kunai. They're not throwing shurikens. And in the back, they cast ninjutsu. Well, twice. So 2 ninjutsu. Upgraded is a Ninja Master, being at level 15, with charisma of 60, with 0 to 30 in alignment. 3 kunai, or shuriken, take your pick. And 1 ninjutsu in the back. It's a nice upgrade, but no change as far as attack power is concerned. And that's the last of the male. That's the last of the male that I'm running through. Now, the second one will be the Amazon, which are the female units. And the tree goes as follows. Amazon being the base, you can either go cleric, shaman, monk to princess, or witch, muse, and to Valkyrie, muse, and witch. So being an Amazon is going to be your base if you have a female unit, and you will have a female unit. You can, of course, level it up to a witch, only at level 5, and having a charisma of 50 plus, an alignment of 0 to 65. Amazons are what they are, rangers. They shoot arrows, front and back. Their terrain, of course, it's not a leader unit. Whereas if they were to change into a witch, well, they're terrible because all they have is slaps. They have flames, that's their terrain. They can recruit hellhounds and pumpkins only if they receive the pumpkin item. You basically just do not, the witch is a do not want unit. It's basically just that bad. I'm looking at stats. The stats are like between, oh god, that's terrible, 25 to 50. But it's like, you don't want it. It's a do not want unit. So basically, the witch unit is, in a word, the Mahoshi unit. It's like, most times it will miss. Their attacks will miss. So it's a Mahoshi unit. Don't get a Mahoshi unit. Get something better. At least if you have a Valkyrie, you're good. Because a Valkyrie can cast Bolt in the back, and it can do chops in the front. Valkyries are actually better than the Amazon unit because of they can hold their own in both ways. They start off at level 5, charisma's past 50, and alignment is past 35. From what I can tell you, they're 50-50. They're good. Because they deliver good damage, but god damn it. 1 minute. Sorry about that. What was I doing? Yeah. As I was saying with Valkyrie is better than Amazon because it can hold their own. That unit can hold their own in the front or in the back, but they're mostly better being in the back because bolts. You can cast bolt twice. The Muse, it's upgraded, is an upgraded version of Valkyrie. Nothing changes, but instead of bolt, they have thunder. With an alignment of plus 70 and charisma of 60. They can only be recruited by Valkyrie. And yes, it is a leader unit, so it is called Muse. So there you go. Another one you will also see in the female line of units are the clerics. You can easily change in any Amazon to that when they're at level 4. So they have an alignment of 50 plus and a charisma of 50 plus. They can be recruited by Amazons. And all they do is heal. So front or back, they both heal. They also do damage to the undead by, of course, healing. And they wield unks. I mean, they're basically the healer unit, so there's not much you can write home about. The shaman is basically an upgraded version of the cleric. Level 10, with a charisma of 60 and alignment of 60. They can be recruited by a cleric or an angel. So, the so they can recruit clerics and angels. That's a shaman. And then a monk can recruit a monk is an upgrade version of the shaman, which is level 18. Shaman's level 10, monk is level 18. Charisma and alignment is 70 to 80 in the plus column. They can recruit knights, shamans, and cherubim. Of course, they're all healing units. So, and also undead killers, so they can do that too. And it's just as good as having a muse. But if you can't, and the best one of all is the princess. The princess is the best level for any female in the game. Because any female unit can, if they actually ever do reach princess, they cast Stardust in the front row. The back is Starlight. And the requirements is an Amazon and a royal crown. So the weak attacks are called Stardust. Back row is called Starlight. So the thing is, what she is she's a buff unit. So it's like saying, you know, you have Emperor in play. But the thing that makes her so great is that as a buff unit, she gets an extra attack. She gives everyone in your unit an extra attack. So, hey, nothing wrong with an extra attack for your team, right? So, as far as the run is concerned, how I'm going to do this versus, it's not going to be like a normal play, of course, because I'm telling you this right now. It is so very tedious to level up in this game that technically what I did was I put in a few codes to make it easier for me to breeze through the game. Whether I win or lose, I made it easier on myself because this game can become hard if you're not leveled high enough. Plus, I don't mind doing that, leveling faster just so I can get certain units much faster than normal. So, there's my other reason. Another thing is there are certain units that will be hidden from you in normal play, depending on where you go on the map. So therefore, what I did was I made it easier and put a cheat on to see these units. It's like saying, you know, getting rid of that fog of war in Fire Emblem. But I'm making it easier for myself because I don't want to have to trip on my own two shoes while I'm playing this game. Now, I only went through the human units, but, you know, like I said, whatever I actually end up with, that's what I'm going with for the remainder of the game. So, as I told you, from the very start. This game has 29 stages, 29 maps. We don't know how long these maps are. And last time I remember playing this game, the first time I've only gotten up to like stage 2, and I've never beaten it since. It's like me and Star Tropics. I have never gotten past stage 3 because, well, the jumping part of stage 3 frustrated me. So here, we start this game, and like I said, I'm doing this my way just so it can be done easier for me because it takes a long time to level. So for my run, I'm making it easier for myself. So with that, we're going to jump into this like so.
My name is Warren. I am a great seer who can understand the destiny the stars have placed upon you. I will now use the power of the Tarot to decide.
Note the spelling on this. That's why I'm putting it there.
I will now use the power of the Tarot to decide whether or not you are fit to become a leader. But first, please tell me your name.
Well, I am Izzy of Amalion. Nice to meet you. I am a man. The Hierophant.
It is difficult to rule those with ideas different from your own. What do you yourself look most for in a leader?
Well, I'm going to walk this through because, hear me out, I have my own morals about this. So, what do I look for in a leader? Well, for one, compassion for their fellow man. And they have to respect themselves above all else. And a sense of justice. But I feel the sense of justice should already be there. If you're a leader, you should already have that. You're doing it for the right cause. So therefore, that's not what I'm looking for. Self-respect, if you don't respect yourself, I can't respect you. That's just bar none. So it leaves me with one thing. Compassion. Because every person is suffering. So what every person in the world right now needs compassion. Next, the woe.
The night before battle, you drank a parting toast with your comrades. How full is your glass?
That's a good question. Well, from my point of view, it's like this. If I go from 1 to 3, it will sound like this. Delta Rim means you're absolutely sure you got this. But in a real life standpoint, it's either 2 or 3. It's either about half full or barely any. I'll tell you why. 1 means you got this. 2 means you're uncertain, but you feel real good about it. It's like Dynasty Warriors, you know. 3 is basically saying you're troubled. So, if you know for sure that you got this, then go with it. Just say, okay, well, you know what? Hey, we're gonna win this. But just be honest about half of it. You have to have that level of uncertainty because you're not certain about how the battle is going to turn into your favor. It might turn against you. So you have to have some level of hope that the battle will indeed turn in your favor. So I'm going half full. Because saying barely any means you are troubled. You're not certain in your abilities as a leader that you're going to do your best. You absolutely have to think you're going to do your best, no matter what the situation. Whether you're losing or you're winning, or you're basically 50-50. You have to do your best. So I'm going half full. Next. Chariot.
What do you think is the best way to pull together and rule people with different hopes and ideals?
Let's see. Really? Well, let's see. 3 is a given. But it's also a double-edged sword, especially speaking in reality terms. We've had various presidents before now that carried with them an air of leadership and charisma. And most times, it's always going to be 60-40. It's never going to be 50-50. It's never going to be 70-30. It's not going to be 80-20. It's 90-10. And definitely not going to be 100% because many people are fickle. They're uncertain about how the rest of the world is going to react. As well as, you know, in their own neck of the woods, they're worried about this and that, you know, with tax cuts and everything. And employment being an issue, as well as, you know, what's going to happen to, you know, their life. Their way of living is always going to be, in a word, disturbed. Their way of life is disturbed. And therefore, it is going to be an issue. And opinions really do matter. You take the consensus of people. You want to know what they think. Military force is another thing. I mean, that's great and all, but, you know, military force just shows how much of a badass you carry. That's your weight. Just like leadership and charisma, that's weight. So, number 2 is religion. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather have faith in knowing I'm the best person for the job. That speaks layers of volume about your character. That basically your faith, how strong your faith is, and not, you know, who you believe in and how you believe in, but you know you're going to do the best job that you can only by saying, in God we trust, yes, I will do the best I can do. Even though, you know, it really shouldn't be a thing, but I'm just going with it. The Hermit.
After a difficult battle, The army unit was unfortunately defeated. What was the cause of your defeat?
Okay. This is a good question. If you were defeated, one and two are the most realistic of choices. Three, not so much. Because a lack of military strength and a lack of leadership really does determine whether you win or lose. If you've been utterly defeated at that point, it was either a lack of strength or leadership. So I would say leadership, because truth be told, no one could figure out what it was that led to your defeat. And it can't be destiny. Because even though I'm a believer of karma, I don't really believe, oh, by destiny, you lose. You're supposed to lose. No. Reality speaking, it's either between leadership or strength. So it's strength. Fortune.
It is sometimes said that victory is only luck. What do you think luck is?
Oh, another good question. I believe in 1 and 2. 3, not so much. But then again, 3 is the double-edged sword. I believe 1 is the truth. Luck is something you create. 2, I don't think luck is inescapable. Luck is a thing that just happens. So it's either good or bad, but it's something that is created. And it just happens. And we're talking about something that is basically a hidden stat. Luck is by far a hidden stat as far as anything else concerned. So it's something you create. You create your own luck. The moon.
You are staring at the full moon the night before battle. What were you thinking of?
Well, if you're a soldier, the results should not be the first thing you think about. I don't know about 3, because just thinking about it, I've seen plenty of series, real and animated, in which there are some hard-ass soldiers that don't think about that. They don't think about their lovers. They don't think about, I'm going into this battle, I might not make it back. That's their mindset. That's the mindset of anyone who has been in battle. However, that can go the same way with family. If you're a family person, that is going to be the one thing that will give you hope. So, the only thing, if I don't have anything else, I would want to have my family. If I don't have someone next to me, I would want to return to my family. So, if I have my own family, that's what I'm returning to. I'm returning to my own family. So there you go.
And finally, please choose a tarot card from the deck.
And like I said, it's all RNG based. Shut up, I know what I'm doing. So it doesn't matter what I pick. So, last time I picked from this. So let's see. Well, I'll choose from here. Oh, shit. It's randomized, though. Okay, so the last time I actually played this on my own time, I actually had something. I had something that gave me really good luck. And since this game is basically dealt upon that RNG, guess what? I got the tower card. That's not usually a good thing. So let's look at our units, which is just this. We only have 5 units in our party. I have a Valkyrie in my party. I believe I'm a samurai, I think. I'm not entirely certain. But if you're a samurai, or I think a master samurai, you can only use Ianuki once. And it's like a Dark Knight. You use that, it takes a small percentage of your health. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to, just roll with it. See, you can change class. Yeah, I'm a lord, so therefore, yeah. Okay. I actually got some good stats. I got 50 in alignment, and it's 50, 50, 50. 50s mainly, so that's good. I have a Valkyrie. Very good stats as well. So I have 3 fighters in front of me. Leroy. Mobile. G-Gun. Mobile fighter. G-Gun. Playing, and as I told you, they both use, slice attacks. The only difference is when you're doing front, you do more slice attacks. It's the same thing as being, a leader unit. You can only do slice if you're doing something in the front. So if you're doing Ianuki, it's basically a sword beam attack. So we can't do anything until we level up characters. So there you go. So let's go to the council board, like so. And like I said, this is 0 part because this is your training. Now the one thing you're going to have to do is, as you see right here, this area is occupied. These are villages, so once you occupy these red areas, they will turn into blue. You want them to turn into blue because you've liberated them. It's the same with the Roshin Temple. Rosfallen Temple. I want to say Roshin. It's Rosfallen. The Rosfallen Temple is another thing you can liberate because that way it heals your units. It also brings your units back to life, considering you have the money for it. Over here is a hidden town in which you have to gain another unit. And then after that, we have to go over here to test if we are worthy of it. And as you can tell, this game goes by a day and night system. So let's move our unit to this town over here. And most of the towns here will just tell you things about liberating towns and whatnot and everything. And each time you do something like this, you will draw a card. Now once you draw a card, that will somehow fix your alignment to something good or something bad. As you can tell, the bar means if you have good alignment or bad alignment. If it drops, you know, that's not good. So we liberate Dascania. So let's draw a card like so. The Chariot. Thank you. Strength up by 2. Yes, I wish to keep that card. So by liberating towns and temples, you can gather info and get tarot cards. You will also receive a tribute every day from each town you liberate. You can't run an army without you can't run an army without money. So be sure to liberate some towns. No. Thank you. So the next thing we do is the temple. Actually, what we want to do is do this. We want to go up north. There's a reason why you want to go north. You will find a hidden town here, as well as a unit that you need in your party. You found the walled city, Deltania. There you go. And liberate. Yes, I will pull a card. The Hanged Man. Yeah, that's not good. So I lost the point in strength. Nope.
My name is Lance. I am a knight of the Royal Zenobian army. You must be the new leader Warren is talking about. I must say, I like the look in your eyes. We have lived until this day only to see the wasteful death of King Gran avenged. I believe that at your side, we just may be able to do that. I hereby pledge my allegiance to you. We will fight with you until the Zenobian Empire is crushed and true peace has returned to this land.
And there you go. If I need to deploy a unit, I just need to press X to deploy the unit. Of course, they cost money. So, next thing we're going to do is liberate this temple, like so. Now, the thing you can do at this point is you can actually get your new unit out in order to advance. But since this is just a training exercise per se, there's no need. Oh, and the code I put in, that's like to level at every battle. So no matter what I do, whether I use, oh, they call it a Russian technique, but it's raw salt. That's for sure. Russian. So let's see what we got from the card deck. Judgment. Thank you. HP goes up by 2 points. Nice. Yes, I will keep that. And I found an item, which is a black. A black lance? What the hell is that? Black powder? Everything is progressing in real time. Morning to night, night to morning. Time is always flowing. You must therefore be able to make quick decisions or lose battles. When you need time to consider your strategy, press start button to issue the pause command. Even while paused, you can issue commands. So you can avoid hasty decisions, especially before battling with an enemy unit. It's always wise to pause and check your unit's condition, which is so true. Because sometimes some enemies fight better during a certain time, whether it's day or night. No. May the hand of God be with us all. So the next thing, and the last thing we do for this part, is we move over to here to prove ourselves to Warren in combat.
It seems that you have prepared for the battle ahead. You must do battle with me. If you manage to defeat me, we will all fight.
Pressing A during battles will allow you to give commands.
Yes, George.
So you can tell in the back row, and there you go, Ianuki will just do that. Ianuki will take a bit of your health, but not too much.
You have done well, and all know now your power. Our fate now lies in your hands. Now we shall fight together until the Zenobia Empire is brought to its knees.
And Bozak has been liberated. And the map is clear. So I'm actually going to save here. And I'm actually going to stop, because in the next part, which is actually going to be part 1, we are actually going to do things proper as we get into our first major battle. So I'm actually glad I say I'm actually 2 major battles. I'm glad I've finally gotten all that out of the way, because I don't want to mention this during the main part of the Let's Play. Well, not Let's Play, but Versus. So, in the next part, it's me versus Ogre Battle, the March of the Black Queen. Stay tuned when we get things started. See you next time. Thanks for watching.